This is Belleville, the Sugar River, but this is a backwater area of the Sugar River. This area, I've never fished before because it is actually impossible to reach in the summer. There's too much plants growing from the main trail to here, but in the winter, everything's kind of like dead. So it is not impossible to reach. I think it looks pretty shallow here. There is a current, but not a very strong one. So I'm gonna throw some lines here and see if there's any fish here. Now that we've got set up with corn and worm on the baits, toss my swim bait and see if anything bites. I think it's actually pretty shallow here. Yeah, it's really shallow here. So I don't know if anything's gonna bite right now because I would think fish would actually be in the deeper parts of the river. Probably just gonna fish here for a while, then go to the other spot because there's nothing here, then there's just nothing here. You can tell it's pretty shallow. And it's very, not that much plants and weeds here. I think it's just shallow dirt bottom, which is not great for fish. I think I'm gonna need something shiny here to attract any kind of fish. So I might end up switching to the spoon. All right, I think we actually got something here. Yeah, it is a fish. It's a carp. I didn't even feel it. I think the carps, like these carps, they're not really, it's not a big one, but these carps, like they're not really pulling unless I pull back. But there you go. Common carp. Common carp. So it's probably like a 2-3 pounder. Oh my God, this water is so shallow. So he's just like resting there. All right, there we go. A common carp. Guys, look. The common carp bud. Probably close to 3 pounds. It's got a red tail, which is pretty interesting. Common carp with red tail. Common carp. This is the first one I caught at this area. The water is extremely shallow here and very muddy, so these might be the only fish here, but we'll see. A common carp bud. Time for you to go back in this cold water here. There you go. I think there's a lot of fish gathered in that place where it narrows and then goes into that little pool back there. So I'm actually just tossing back there and I'm keeping my lines extremely tight. Because if I don't keep my lines extremely tight, I will not notice that they bite. We are now at the river bend. That backwater only had, I only got one carp. I got another bite, but it didn't hook. And I've been there for like an hour, and that's the only carp I got. So now we're here at this river bend, which is one of my best places to actually fish. And we got 2 poles out. We're gonna get the 3rd one out, and we're gonna see if we can get any fish here. I think I might have a fish on this line. Oh yeah, it's definitely a fish. Definitely a fish. What is it? Is it a carp or is it a sucker? It is a carp. Oh, it is a... Is it a shiner? No, it's a carp. It's a really small one though. Oh yeah, it's one of the smallest ones I've caught on the Sugar. But it is a common carp. Common carp. Very small common. So young and so caught, Mr. Common Carp. I'm only 5 months old. Please let me go. Okay, carp, you're going to go back. All right, carp, see ya. This place looks pretty promising because just as I let that carp go, I think I got one here. Yep, none of these feel really big though is the thing. They all feel like really small carp. Yep, there's another one. Very mighty, you can see. That's why I love fishing for carp, because like they're so feisty. They're so much more feisty than bass, especially in this temperature of water. This one's slightly bigger, but it's still a pretty small common. Another common carp. Come on, carp. Onto the bank you go. Oh, there you go, common carp. All right, Mr. Carp, see ya. I think I'm gonna toss some worms in the middle of the stream and see if I can pick up any red horse suckers. Because I believe they're here too, and I actually have 1 ounce weights now, so I think I can take the stream, like the flow of the stream. No sooner did I toss the worm out there, it got hit. Got massively hit. It's a small fish though. Fighting really hard, but it is a smaller fish. I think it's another carp. Yep. Looks like the carpios have just dominated this stretch of the river, and they ain't giving up. Carpios. Another common. I was hoping for a sucker, but another carp. It's like carp after carp after carp. Massive carp mania in this section of the river. Commons everywhere. It's another common carp. Let's reel them up, guys. Another like 1 pound common carp. Another common. These guys are pretty skinny. They're probably trying to bulk up for spawn. So that's probably why they're so hungry. See a carp. Well, this is actually probably the most carp infested section of the river, honestly. If you bring some corn here any time of the year and you throw the corn in, you'll probably just get a fish within like a few minutes. If you bring 2 poles, it'll probably be non-stop action and you will never have any free time to do anything else. In the summer, you don't want to throw worms here because this place is infested with softshell turtles as well, and they will take your corn before the carp. And if a softshell gets your bait, you're probably not getting your hook back. They are quite a bitch to deal with, so you definitely do not want to throw any kind of meat bait here in the summer. Plus, like, I think there are only carp here, so because of that, there's no point in getting meat bait anyways, because carp just bite corn. They'll bite worms too, but soft shells will bite it more readily than carp. Speaking of which, I think we have another fish on the line. Nope, got off. Got off. Speaking of which, I think we have another carp on the line. Yep, that's another carp. They will bite anything and everything. I'm actually just trying to basically hone in on a trophy carp these days, because these small carp just infest. Now these are good eater sized carp. I know a lot of Americans, this one's slightly bigger. I know a lot of Americans don't really eat carp because of the spines, but a lot of Asian people, we know how to deal with the spines. Well, I actually don't know how to deal with the spines, but my parents do. They know how to deal with the spines, so they eat a lot of carp. And these are good eater sized carp. They're not the gigantic ones, but they're like the 1-2 pound carp that are actually worth eating. And just in case, if you don't know if carp jump or not, that one just jumped a while ago. So yes, carp do actually jump while being pulled in. And pound for pound, they are much, much more feisty than bass. Oh yeah, there you go. Another common carp. I think you're gonna be seeing a lot of these on this video. Seeing a ton of these on this video. Still not have caught a red horse sucker here yet. Hopefully I can catch a red horse sucker later here. There you go, common carp, slightly bigger. That's the biggest one today at this location. I'm just gonna let him go down here because I can actually reach the water down here and I can't reach the water over there. But essentially endless hordes of common carp. All right, see ya, common carp. There you go, off you go. Like I said, endless hordes of common carp. I didn't even have time to put away the other one, and this one, the small one, just bit on my worm. Endless hordes of common carp. I do not think I am going to catch a red horse sucker here. I'm going to toss one way across. I'm going to toss a worm way across the river there to see if I can get one. But another common carp. Endless hordes. I've caught like 6, and it's been roughly less than 10 minutes. Well, actually about 15 minutes since I've gotten here. 6 carp in 15 minutes, and I haven't even pulled them up as they've bitten. Otherwise, I could have probably gotten more. Still hoping to catch a monster here, but right now, just these little ones. See a little carp. Just in case you're wondering, these fish bite in like cold weather or not, it's actually like 35 degrees right now. My hands are actually like freezing. So yes, they do bite in cold or warm weather. I would still like to know if this place has any smallies actually, but it doesn't seem like anything biting besides the common carp. And there is another common carp bite. I'm gonna stop using worms because I keep using worms. I'm actually just going to run out of worms. So let's see this common carp bite. Maybe it's a sucker this time, but I'm guessing it's a carp. This one feels actually, oh, I thought that one broke off, but probably just broke off like a branch or something. Oh, that's what, man, all these feel so light. I wish there were some big commons here, but they're just like, they're very small. The commons here are very small. They seem to prefer they'll bite either the corn or the worms, but they actually do seem to prefer the worms, because they're biting more readily on the worm. You can see how much my pole is like just tilting basically, because carp are fighting very hard. Fortunately, I have very, very strong string, so it's not gonna shake off my string. So let's bring this guy in and stop using worms, because I'm just wasting my worms on carp. And I'm gonna go with the corn instead, because they'll catch them too. All right, little dude, see ya. Ah, the common carp. For many, a scourge. For me, it's a fun game fish, but realistically, I want to get the big ones, and the ones here at this bend seem to be like somewhere between 1 and 3 pounds, which isn't a very exciting carp to capture. Looking for ones that are 5-10 pounds plus. These 1 to 3 pounders, like, they bite like every 5 seconds. I think I just got another bite. Yep, got another bite. You just put like any piece of leftover worm on them and they will actually bite. So like, they take it down the river pretty hard too with the current. But yeah, they're very small here. I don't know why. Maybe the big ones just all hang out somewhere else, but the small ones are actually here. It's not that deep here, so that could actually be why there's not any big ones here. The big ones probably prefer deeper water. I think the deeper the water is, the bigger the carp get. All right, that one fell off. You know, Europeans would go nuts over stuff like this because they love the carp. Us Yankees, not really. We prefer other fish. I mean, I know me and a couple other friends really enjoy fishing for carp, for bigger carp, but most Americans consider carp like trash fish. We prefer the game fish like bass. Actually, I don't really prefer the bass because LNBs are kind of boring, honestly. Carp fight a lot harder than LNBs do, pound for pound, and they're much bigger. But most Americans prefer the bass. You know what? I'm wrong about them preferring the corn, prefer the worms over the corn. They will readily bite whatever, as long as you go in the right position, they will readily bite whatever you throw at them. Be it corn, carp, they'll probably bite hot dogs too. I just didn't bring the little mini hot dogs here. They're very, very lively. I don't know how the heck they're so lively in like 35-degree water, but they are. They must have some like Chuck Norris gene in them or something. Not enough Chuck Norris gene, because obviously I can bring them up on shore. If they really had Chuck Norris powers, I would not be able to win the battle against them. But yeah, tons of these like 1 to 3 pound carp. Not very, very exciting to catch. But you know, a day full of action trying to bring them up, definitely. Not any big ones, nothing bigger than maybe 3-4 pounds at the most. But decent sized carp. There's another one. All right, carp, see ya. Well, pretty much freezing here, getting a little late, so I'm gonna go home. But as you can see, doesn't matter if it's warm or cold or anything, you can get a lot of carp here. I think they like the worms slightly better than the corn, but they will actually bite both, because I've caught like several on both. I think they basically bite more on the opposite bank because there's more carp over there, but they will bite anywhere at any time. So that is the conclusion. Hope you had fun watching this episode, and hopefully we'll have some more non-carp content soon, as soon as the weather gets a little bit warmer, i.e. next week.